Hello! So this will be the last video for the year, and you might have noticed this past few days a lot of my education has been on vitamin A. So I thought, why not finish the year with a bit of the most common questions I have to try and educate hour by hour in my life on vitamin A, because it is something that people do not understand. And with good reason. It's actually quite complicated. So hopefully I'm going to try and ask or answer some of the most pondering or confusing questions and make it simple for everyone to understand. Because if we master this concept of why we should use certain types of vitamin A and why we need to challenge the skin with it on a daily, moment by moment basis and have a little bit of understanding of cause and effect, you actually have control yourself over looking after your own skin, your own skin ailments, because all disease begins with a lack of the antioxidant family in the skin, and the king of that family is vitamin A, and particularly the storage esters of vitamin A, which make up 90% of the skin cells. So we know that when we're born with this beautiful, healthy, rich vitamin A in the living layer of the tissue. And obviously vitamin A, like nature, isn't solo, so it needs to be coupled with antioxidants to be powerful and effective. So when I'm prescribing vitamin A, I'm always assessing the individual's lifestyle, how frequent they are or are not able to have treatment, if they use any devices to support product penetration like a roller or a DF mobile, if they have regular medical needling appointments. All of these things will dictate and change the efficiency of the vitamin A you're applying. So our goal is to get the skin to not plateau out from using the same esters all the time in the same nutrition volume. So that's why behind me, I've prepared a few of my favorite vitamin A formulas. Ta-da! All right, so shall we have a look at them? So we've got, this is a serum ester, and it's coupled with tons of antioxidants. This one's great for pigmentation as well as red and brown. So vascular system, it's got the vitamin C's in it, so that will strengthen the vascular network. It's fast absorbing. It'll work brilliantly with any DF treatment. So if you have home DF mobiles and things, it's going to pulse in really quickly. It's also going to help control pigmented cells that have been damaged from too much exposure to your screens, your artificial lights, your direct lights. So that's going to control pigment, lighten pigment, and it's a very lovely introduction vitamin A when you've got someone who's not used to it. So that's your Melafade. Antioxidant gel sort of sits in this family where I look at. Antioxidant gel is beta carotene and a whole lot of water soluble antioxidants. So again, will work really well if you have the DF devices or the Sonos. This is really good when you haven't, your skin hasn't been exposed. You're an adult and you've been exposed to too much radiation or light exposure. So the receptors that are going to uptake the vitamin A have been damaged. So we just want to start introducing the skin to healing esters. Because it's in a water soluble form, you'll find that skins that are already in a flare will really love it. So if you've got already in that flare where your barrier's upset, you've got sort of a rash, you've got heat, so some kind of inflammatory skin disorder from, an eczema, sort of a psoriasis, they're getting rashes. This is kind of going to help to soothe and heal and start getting those antioxidants back dosed into the skin. But we don't want to stay on this sort of recipe. We want to move up. Oil soluble. Acne clients love oil soluble. It is a little bit of reprogramming that I have to do to get them to understand this, because an acne client thinks that they need to scrub and strip their skin, when in fact we look at the opposite. So I'm looking at using fat-soluble forms of vitamin A, C, and E. Remember, these are the ingredients made in your skin, but these are in quite decent doses that are going to start getting into that damaged follicles and starting to heal the abnormal sebaceous or the oil production. It's also because vitamin A normalizes cell function. So if the oil glands are overproducing, this is going to help to control that. It will need to be coupled with some other ingredients, but this is why we look at an oil soluble. The body oil is not just for the body, it definitely can be prescribed for the face. So this is why we've got a cellulac, which is really lovely when you've got more of a bacteria element to your skin. You're actually getting like breakouts or blackheads and things like this. It's got a little bit of that tea tree that tends to work for a bit more disinfecting. The body oil is doesn't have the disinfecting side. It has the A, C, and E, so it's going to control and heal every abnormality in the body. And it's great because in an oil soluble form, you find that you don't need a lot of product. You can get a film onto the body will utilize it really rapidly, and it'll work with your barrier function because it's actually an oil based function. So it actually works really intelligently, and it's really economical. All right, so normally once the client has been used to vitamin A for a while, we sort of can step them up into higher units. Just like exercise, we're lifting heavier weights, we're getting more tissue regeneration. So some of my higher units, let's have a look at them. So we've got a little like a ladder here on the side. So you'll see this is the top, AVST5 is the top of the AVST line, and then we've got like the second from the top on the youth line in our hot little hands here. So these guys have got not only your vitamin A, C, and E in it, but they have got different elements. So one has a ton of different spectrum of antioxidants. So if someone told me, oh, you're only allowed to use vitamin A as an ingredient for the rest of your life, I would say I'd be very sad because my skin needs a ton of antioxidants to mop up all the free radical damages from the day. So this has got a ton of antioxidants coupled with it, because remember, nature does not work very well in single individual units. The body will work a lot better if it has been pre-designed to be more similar to what our anatomy is lacking, which is antioxidants. We have an abundance of free radical damage in the skin. Every line, every wrinkle, every pigmentation, every vein, red capillary that's dilated, it's all free radical rusting. It's exposure to that. So we need to anti-rust the skin to make it more bulletproof. So this is the top of this line, and this is the second top of this line, just for an example. And then we've got a retinol here, which has a retinol, which is the alcohol ester. So these are small storage esters. Alcohol element, and it also has a colostrum, which is like a probiotic, so it's a little bit like less aggressive, and it also has a propionate, which is another storage form of vitamin A. So if someone has made it up to the top of this line, why would they go down or why would they go up? So many factors, and I probably don't have time to go through that. But if you are at this line and your skin is handling it really well, then you would look at delivery systems. So there's no point investing more money in more products if you haven't already now using a home roller to push this in, which you're going to get a lot more usable nutrition out of it. And then there's other options in treatment and things. From here, if you're doing all that and you think, oh no, I want healthier skin, I want to challenge my skin to be more bulletproof for life, I don't want all my skin cancers to come up when I get older, you can start building. So I use 3 to 4 at this point in the game, 3 to 4 different active esters of vitamin A. So I'm using some of the higher lines, the higher doses, and I'm cocktailing them together. You can't put more international units in one bottle, but what you can do is you can use some of the higher lines and combine them to make it more powerful in the skin. The great news is you will see change in the mirror, but it has to be designed for you. It's not something you can just, I used this for 5 years, 10 years ago, I'm just going to go back and use it again. You're probably going to waste your time and money, you probably have irritation reaction, or you probably just plateau out. So the skin becomes more bulletproof to vitamin A when you start using it, which means it becomes more waterproof. So it's good, it's going to stop the bad stuff going in, but the problem is it's sort of, it stops your skin being able to use it. So you've got to get more intelligence to that. It's like fitness. If you just started, you've done no fitness all your life, you're 35, and you decide, okay, I want to start getting fit. So I'm going to start by walking around the block, and you get a bit puffed out from that. Okay, and I'm going to start, you're getting better at that. I'm going to start challenging that by adding some elevation. I'll do a hill, I'll do a jog, I'll do a higher intensity, I do stop starts. So you've got to challenge muscles for them to grow. Because our skin's an organ that is constantly under attack from its external and internal environment, and often people are putting products on their skin before they I start working with them that do harm. They have chemicals in there that once you heat them, they might be blocking, let's use a sunscreen for example, so they might be blocking the burning sensation or the burning sensor from turning on, but you're getting this with a microscope. You can see all the free radical discharge underneath the skin. So when you're using storage esters of vitamin A, you are pretty much building up to have a natural SPF of 25 on the skin all the time. And that SPF isn't working as a stopping burning signal, it's actually working as a healing DNA signal. And it's mopping up all the damage inside the skin from the violation of the free radicals. So I was listening to Tom Brady, I suppose it's a celebrity football player in America, talk about his nutrition recently, and I was interested in it because he was going on a big rant about coffee, and I know a lot of you like coffee, and I'm always looking for different ways to try and explain why it is not good for you. But we'll talk about that another day. The point is, he has a whole lifestyle about anti-inflammatory. Anti-inflammatory means anti-aging. We know that. Science is proving it time and time and time. If you can keep your inflammation markers low in your skin, you'll keep your skin really healthy. So what I want you to consider is vitamin A is a massive anti-inflammatory when used correctly, when the skin is using it in the living layer and not getting trapped on top. And all vitamin A's are definitely not created equal. You'll find many companies won't touch storage esters because they're very hard to work with. For many aspects, they have to be made under controlled life. They have a very short shelf life. If you even consider your skin, it gives up its vitamin A to oxygen and light. So if you're going to bottle that, you need to have a lot of control over it. You need to have dates underneath, to have therapists who are trained to work with it. There's a lot of tick lists, and that means it's harder to make a profit out of it. So you will find Environ is the only brand in the world still that they've been chasing this for over 50 years. They were chasing it before everyone was like, no, that's not the key. And now we know, that's definitely the key, but it's the quality, and then it's also having it prescribed, and it is worth a lot of money to have someone, you save, is my point, a lot of money by having someone prescribe it for you and monitor you with it, than just trial and error, because you'll see consistent results and you won't waste time and money in the wrong hope in a bottle kind of deal. And even if you have little responses, which we all should have, like muscle pain when our skin is getting better, you should have someone that's able to coach you through it, to accelerate you through the little bump in the road. And then it should be a pretty helpful, happy direction up and up and up as the skin gets more beautiful. The goal is to have cancer-free skin. Skin cancer cannot live in a vitamin A dense tissue, which is really encouraging. It's my goal. I've noticed as I'm getting older, my skin is getting thicker and stronger. And I heard a quote from Dr. Des this morning. He was talking about a patient, and she was very later on in life, and at the age of 99, I believe she only started using the body oil, this one, in her 80s. So there's hope for us all. She started using it in her 80s, and she was just saying she's so grateful she started, because at 99, her skin cancers weren't coming up anymore. So the body is remarkable. It can heal itself given the right environment, but just consider that we are bombarded with a lot of artificial free radicals that we weren't 10, 20, 50 years ago. So we have to give back to create balance, and it's worth looking after yourself, because you get one body, one skin. All right. Have a fantastic holidays to everyone. It's a little bit longer than normal, so just wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. All right. Hope to see you all very rested in 2023. Bye for now.